All right. Thank you, Zainab, and thank you, Purva. Zainab, if you could help me to maximize the screen.
The screen is maximum.
Just a moment. All right. Yeah. Maybe on slideshow mode that can help us.
It is on slideshow mode, Usha.
All right. It appears to be different. It is. Yeah. Thank you then. Thank you so much. Great. All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. So welcoming you to this session on Masterclass Imperative Behaviors in Corporate. So Wipro has been successfully conducting these sessions for the pre-joiners. And I am overwhelmed to be a part of this session, and I'm one of the facilitators for this program. My name is Usha Swaminathan, and I've been with Wipro, a part of the learning and development team for the last 6+ years. Right. So Zainab, would they be able to use the chat box?
Yes, they are able to use the chat box.
Great, thank you. So all you have to do is help me to understand. You can use either of these emojis if you can see the screen and hear me loud and clear. A thumbs up would do, and we would get started. All right. Would we be able to see the responses? Is there a possibility?
Yes, Usha, you can see the responses. It's there on the chat there, like show conversation, and then you get everything. But show Q&A.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yeah, the Q&A. I got that. Thank you so much. Right. So let me help you to understand the session objective today. We would be certainly looking at a few things that can help you to be ready before you joining the organization. So understanding the significance of professionalism. Well, we all love to be professionals. And having said this, what are the significance of you to be a professional? And there's a framework that we have been successfully imparting, which is the Rapid Framework of Professionalism. And we will look at how well you could practice the framework and have a self-reflection. Yeah, so that's the objective of the program. And moving on to the slide. Well, what do we expect? What does Wipro expect from freshers in the organization? We've got 4 divisions. So when I say yes, as a fresher, we expect the business expects you to do something. The leadership team wants you to execute something. And there's a concept of intrapersonal and interpersonal skills that we immensely believe in. So starting with the business team, well, confidence. Now, I'm sure we're all equipped with tons of confidence, and there are divisions of confidence when you talk about being overconfident, low in confidence, self-confident, confident when you speak in public, confident when you appear for an interview, or there's this instant way of even you picking up on confidence, right? It's like a one-day match. I can also be confident for a day's, interview session or a day's presentation, and then I need to rework on my confidence. So we will talk in detail about what business expects you to be confident about. Confidence as such is one big element that you are feeling sure of yourself and you're assured of your capabilities, your strategies, your output, and your results because you have witnessed everything by yourself. And talking about in corporate sector, it helps you to deal better with conflicts, deal better with people around you, your peers, and it can help you to improve your communication skills. And remember, your communication skill is one of the biggest weapons that can make you stay happy on a long run in an environment. And it also enables you to take better feedback. So being freshers, maybe your first job to connect with a seasoned leader is you talking and handling challenges. So the best way to build your confidence is in whatever area that you want to invest your time and effort in. Pick that one element and start focusing on it. Maybe I can give you an example. A new joiner who joins the organization, he wants to pick on his writing skills. Maybe he may be a profound speaker. He may be super proficient about what he and she has to deliver. And he has to focus on writing. So he starts building his confidence. He starts investing his time, energy, effort, and focusing more to build on his written skills. So practicing confidence can be very useful, and it is recommended to have a better career identity. Right. Maybe in a big presentation after you joining the organization, maybe in a big presentation or a kind of team huddle that you have, you are expected to do a dry run if you want to appear to be confident. Now, what is this dry run concept? Before you appearing to speak on something, you want to be confident, you can have a dry run. Yeah, so people who are confident in their abilities can become more even with better preparation. So remember, you to appear confident, preparation is the crux. But there's some kind of a degree of confidence, especially in your ability to learn, which is required to be willing to admit, accept that you need guidance or support. Now, checking with the second element that you see here, well, the leadership team. Wipro has got huge leadership team, and Wipro believes in a transparent culture when we connect with peers, subordinates, and leadership team. So we expect there's something called as an executive presence that we have developed to be. There's something called as an executive presence that we have developed to be. So talking about this executive presence, this is a deadly combination. And what is this combination has got to do? It has got your personality and your character traits that can make you become super nice to be connecting with people around you. So the ability in you where you can inspire others in terms of you being holding an assertive communication in your you being holding an assertive communication in your roles through consistent way of you demonstrating your confidence with clear leadership is important. Now, executive presence is certainly not just an element or a trait that you hold. It is a skill set that you need to start owning it, which means you can build it, you can cultivate it. You may be with little amount of experience to corporate culture since you guys are freshers. So there's always this concept of you being a raw hand, which is okay. But this executive presence is about you to inspire confidence. Now, how can you start inspiring confidence with your subordinates? Well, you may connect with the leaders you want to follow, or you may be inspiring the confidence amongst your peers where they are capable enough and reliable enough. Most importantly, remember, inspiring confidence amongst you, your team members, for which you have the potential for great achievements to be witnessed by the entire team. Now, I'm going to share a couple of tips with you right now for people who want to really build to get better on this combination of your personality and your character traits. Now, you can look at having a vision for yourself. Now, when I say a vision, how well you start articulating your ideas. Because remember, you would be connecting with multiple clients, multiple stakeholders. You'll be connecting with your internal customers within Wipro, and your scale of connect will be different in terms of you measuring where you will be communicating absolutely different with the stakeholders around you. So your vision is flawlessly in any circumstance. It can be maybe a 1-minute bump in the cafeteria that you meet your supervisor, or maybe another supervisor from the second team or the third team. Still strike a conversation with them. Make that impression. You can articulate your vision so well that you will never know how you would be remembered by people around you. So never shy away from the opportunities that you get. Important element is you meet someone, stay connected with them. And always remember, another tip that I can help you is how people experience you well. How well do they understand how others experience you is important, because understanding is one of the assets in corporate life or be it in real-time life. You can start consulting with your mentors, your supervisors, receive feedback. And do you guys know that in corporate, we believe in a fantastic mechanism of feedback. So we get feedback from supervisors, from the subordinates, and the peers, and across. Yeah. So the global feedback helps you to experience yourself really well and make sure to include people you want to see in a variety of situations. Now, building your communication skill. Maybe you could respond in the chat box in the Q&A. How many of you are strong in building your network with people around you, or I would say, yeah, in your communication skills? Maybe I'll check with your communication skills. How many of you are good, strong or good in your communication? Just use the word strong or good, and I can connect with you. Yeah. Okay. Strong, good. Fantastic. All right. I'm just looking. Is the slide not changing? Is the slide not changing? Please confirm. Is the slide not changing? Is the slide visible now? Zainab, would you be able to help me with that? All right, thank you. Yeah. Can we move on to the next slide, Zainab? Yeah. Great, thank you. And if you could page down for me. Yeah, we have discussed about you connecting with business in terms of confidence. Yeah. And your executive presence. Great. Now, lovely. I see a lot of responses which says good and strong in communication. Yeah. So when we talk about good and strong in communication, remember you need to hold this on a long run. Never ever be tired of you working on those skill sets, even making it better, and you will definitely shine up well in terms of communication. Now, virtual connect. Now that for the last 2 years, all of us have been connecting virtually, listening skills is the one of the biggest elements that we look at. Now, when you want to share with your partners, when you want to connect with your partners, you having this executive presence that we were talking about, right? You have to certainly be an excellent listener. How was this possible virtually? Now, remember this connect, the session where you have been listening. All I could look is, well, there are lovely listeners where they acknowledge really well. So the more you listen, the more you acknowledge to the situation that you're around in. Don't be hesitant to connect with people around you, either through your mic or through the camera, because virtual connect is not that easy, but you need to start owning that skills too. Now, one other important element that we can look at is cultivating your network and building strong relationship with people around you. So we are certain that we will talk about it in detail in a while, right? And have you heard about people speaking, well, corporate life is filled with stress. There's loads of work pressure, loads of work. And I'm sure, it's a very stressed filled life. Not certainly. How are you to strike a balance is important. Socializing with your life and connecting. It cannot come in a week's practice, but you have to start implementing what is required for you and what is not. You have to start prioritizing, work on your plan of action, on your checklist. And remember, you need to discard or stay away from your distractions, which is important. Maybe you never wanted to appear rushed or overwhelmed for a meeting. So don't start losing your patience if you think that, well, this is so stressful. Not really. So working with people around you, maybe that can be the mistake of believing when people look frantically busy. So not really. So start connecting with people and take little breaks and socialize with life. Do what is required out of you. Right. And look at the third element that you see, effective communication and intrapersonal skills. Now that most of you said you're good and average in, connecting with people around you, your strength to be better and best is when you connect with your stakeholders. Now, connecting with your stakeholders, you have multiple opportunities. You connect with them through emails, through WebEx calls, through team meeting call, or through chat messengers, and it goes on. How effective you can be is how well you can articulate. Your stakeholders need someone who can really give them confidence in terms of communication. We expect people to share our plan of action with tons of clarity. Now, your interpersonal skills, when, I remember in college, most of us, we want to work in teams. Your projects will be with people around you. Maybe one of your best colleagues would have completed a project. You want to take up that project, or you want to follow the similar strengths and then go ahead with it. Likewise, when you start collaboratively working with people in an organization, it strengthens your ability to be better. Now, how can you start working collaboratively? Well, this can happen provided you think, well, I'm going to be a great team player. I'm going to be productive enough in bringing people together and start working with that. So get everyone on the same page, and you need to start connecting with different people from different regions. Right. Okay. Now moving on. So this is something that as an organization, Wipro really expects you to appear with. Now, how can you appear to be confident? Now, I'm going to check with you on this. Maybe we'll move on to the next slide. Yes, Zainab can help us with that. Great. Now, look at this slide, which talks about what you say, what you do, and how you look, and how much you know is important for you to be confident enough. Now, what you say, anyone here who is adhered to this 21-day habit, a challenge or something in your real-time life? Yeah, because I personally believe in that. Whatever you commit, whatever you focus, or whatever you share in a public platform can make you feel better. So what you say in a professional environment is important. It's not just the word choice that we look at, not just the words where you say, well, I would be able to do it. Well, I'm going to acknowledge to it, not just with acknowledgements, but how well are you able to execute is also equally important. Now, your energy, when we talk about energy, there are a lot of inspirers in corporate sector. Maybe after, in few months of time, you would connect with great leaders who demonstrate high energy level when they connect with people at any forum. Your energy can be an influencer for people around you. So start working on these elements that you see on the screen. If you think, well, I need to speak really well, focus on that. You need to work on your energy, start focusing on this. Now, your energy, like I told you, is important. It can be an influencer. Now, how many of you are high in energy? Just say hi in the chat box or low in energy. And just looking at your responses, that's all is needed for me. High and low, you could say, yeah. Maybe few responses and we are good. Okay. Now, for people who think, well, I'm a little low in energy and I need to really work on my energy level, you need to start focusing on yourself a little better. Because you know your strengths. Like I told you, maybe the other areas, you may be an awesome writer, you may be an awesome communicator. It's just that energy. Energy is not just Just on your voice tone. All alone. Energy is how you project yourself, how you establish yourself with your team members, with your team leaders, and people around you. Now, dress code is something that organizations are particular about. Though connecting virtually, you need to appear absolutely well groomed. Now, look at those elements of how you can appear well groomed. Because connecting virtually, you appear on a video call. We do not encourage employees to be really casual. Because the more you are confident on your clothing, the more you appear to speak up, the more you appear to come on the video and be confident about, because we do not want to hear criticism about how you look like and what you look like. So this can certainly help you to another level of you being well groomed. Now, imparting knowledge. Now, in college, there's a measuring metric always to check on how much knowledge, maybe examinations or assessment, seminar, semester, and it goes on. But in corporate, for you to know in terms of your knowledge, you need to start revealing your credibility, your achievements to people around you, because it comes through you, not through the others. So how much you know is something that you have to start establishing. Maybe a new hire who joins the organization, he would have completed a certification on C++, and then he wants to complete another certification on another stream. So maybe to know the level of expertise that you are in terms of knowing C++, it starts from you. So start appearing to be confident. How can you know, let people know that, well, I know C++. It's not just on your resume. Grab the opportunity in a situation and start revealing people what you really know. Now, the next slide is pretty interesting, and that's one of my favorite. Slides, right, which talks about confidence versus low in confidence. All right, I'm just checking at the screen. Yes, it is. Now that we spoke about how you can build on your confidence, you start believing in yourself. What is required out of you, whether it's going to be a criticism, whether it's going to be an appreciation. You need to start accepting things absolutely. graciously. And the moment you start admitting your mistakes, now I'm sure you would have heard about this term called escalations. Yeah. So any escalation will give you a feedback, or any forum will give you your feedback, right? So if you are at fault, end of the day, we're all human. We make a lot of errors. Be the fantastic tool you and I use, still we make mistakes. So when you admit your mistakes, please connect with people around you and say a word of sorry, apologizing statements, and certainly learn from your mistakes, right? Now, remember, in corporate, there's nothing called as I did it. It is always the team. You are entitled to be a fantastic or a great team player. So you need to start connecting with people around you, appreciate each other, recognize each other, the more and more of raves and recognition that you start getting. So when you admit your mistakes, please connect with people around you and say a word of sorry, apologizing statements, and certainly learn from your mistakes, right? Now, remember, in corporate, there's nothing called as I did it. It is always the team. You are entitled to be a fantastic or a great team player. So you need to start connecting with people around you, appreciate each other, recognize each other, the more and more of raves and recognition that you start getting, right? And do not sulk when you receive an appreciation. And we believe when there is an appreciation in corporate, we make it reach out to the larger audience. We don't limit appreciations to ourselves. That is something that corporate certainly believes in. And Wipro is an organization which has got a transparent culture, and we believe in doing that. Now, I am going to check with you guys on the next slide. Yeah, there are three things that we can look at in building confidence. Now, building confidence with habit, and how can you boost your goals and your past achievements. Now, let me check with you guys on your past achievements. Can you list out or can you mention any one of your achievements in college? Yeah, it can be anything. Maybe something that you have been recognized. Okay, I'm looking at that. Just a moment. I'm scrolling and looking at your responses. Maybe in half phrases that I could. Mm-mm. Wow. Okay. Velocity program. Okay. And then I see. Mhm. It is taking few seconds for me to read these responses. Do give me a minute. Yeah. Beautiful. Even management lead, which is nice. Okay. Singing competition. Fantastic. Department top up. All right. Great. Now that you guys have given me these responses, please understand, after you joining an organization, your achievements in the past can also be a value add. Yeah, there's always a myth, with people after joining corporate sector. Maybe your passion is lost, the fun with volleyball, the fun with singing, and everything fades away. Not really. So start establishing yourself. Remember, I keep telling you this word. You need to start establishing yourself really well. So whatever is your achievement, if you think you're good at, start working on that. Do not give up. And Wipro has huge opportunities. We have a lot of connects in Yammer where we connect with people in terms of music club, sports club, and there's a cultural event that happens. And virtually we connect with people around to get their recognition in terms of talent. So start working on that. Now, to check with on how you can build your confidence, it is important that you know your habits better. Right. I started realizing this after, the post-pandemic, that when we started connecting from home. So it is important that you take care of your habits really well, because your personal habit in terms of it can help you on your physical and your mental strength. Now, what should I be doing? If I know that these are things that I go wrong, maybe you could connect on working on your skill set, giving that time, starving distractions from Insta page or FB, which you think that you can limit yourself to. Remember, your self-confidence is always the ability from you or within you to say, well, I can even do it better, right? And you can work on a SWOT analysis. Yeah, your SWOT, your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat is the SWOT analysis, which can help you to identify what is required out of you. And SWOT can help you make wonders, right? So when you start setting the confidence within you and boosting your goals, don't have long goals. You can have limited goals, because I'm sure loads of changes after you getting into this new role of professional life. You cannot make miracles in a day's time, but have baby steps. Yeah, have these kind of minimum goals, or goals, short goals, maybe for a month's time, week's time, and you need to start recognizing and appreciate yourself for reaching those goals, because that can help you in terms of confidence within you to scale up really better. So remember, you need to have this on. Just don't stop with things that, okay, yeah, I'm done with this and now. No, on a long run, start working on this. Now, remember, we were talking about this framework, which I told you, which is called the RCA Framework. Yeah, maybe the next slide will help you to understand what this framework is. We've been talking about this with a lot of freshers, right? Yeah, maybe Zainab, if you could move on to the next slide, please. Great, thank you. Yeah. So this is the framework, which is called RCA. Now, remember, change is one dangerous word. We all keep remembering or recollecting, realigning ourselves with changes are very constant in life. You need to start accepting changes. We love those statements, but when it comes to reality, we don't want to break from the comfort zone. So change agility is described on the ability for you to quickly and successfully concentrate on what the implementing changes are going to happen, because that is the key element for you to withstand a lot of changes to be successful in an organization. So what can you adapt rapidly to any situation that you've been aligned with? And how can you revert with most of it immediately in response to changes in markets? Because you have a lot of competitors in terms of product, IT, services, and it goes on. Now, reframe. Look at the first element of reframe. So what is about the change that you feel? You would have heard loads of changes. You would have witnessed loads of changes. And you would have experienced loads of changes. Now, what is the change that you feel threatened by? And then you start building it is important. So you know the change as well. Okay, this is a change. Will I be able to accept it? I feel a little threatened about it. But make up your mind. You need to, we all say this, yeah, it's all in the mind. So start making your mindset a little better. Accept this and start working towards it. Maybe for the first time that can be a disaster, which is okay. But for the second time, go ahead and start accepting changes. One change that I can give you as an example for freshers is accustoming to 8 hours you connecting with your laptop, because for now we'll be connecting from home. Right? That is one change, because I know freshers, you've never been glued to the system for long hours. We have always been using mobile phones, which has got everything. But yeah, laptop connectivity is something that you may feel a little uneasy about, but you would get the hang of experience in some time. So the first step is to understand why you're doing it and how you would be able to do it better is something that you have to start experiencing. And try to see these changes as an opportunity, because a situation can offer you multiple things, but this is certainly an opportunity for you. So this can be better and much better after you start implementing these changes. Now, still, you are not convinced with these kind of changes. Now you have to start channelizing it. When I say start channelizing it, maybe you're emotionally not happy about it, or you're still give up attitude. You're tired about it, because change is not that easy to accept. It's like quickly in one snap of a finger, it fades away from us. It can be harder to have the right navigation, but you need to make sure that when you're dealing or leading changes, you are feeling so refreshed and ready to start it all over again, and maybe even multiple times. So never ever equip yourself with negative thoughts or negative people, negative influences around you, because there may be multiple people, multiple channels, multiple social media network, multiple reviews that can immensely give you negative ideas about it. So stop yourself to drain your energy from that, and ensure that you shape up, you navigate with people around you on a positive tone. Maybe you could compare, well, I made a mistake this time, but I have learned something for the future. The next time, make new mistakes and keep learning new things. This is something that corporate will make you experience this. We all make mistakes in corporate. There are loads of escalations. Your clients will be unhappy about the next day, but you admit your mistake, you start working, your clients will be the first person to send an appreciation email. Now, well, you start reframing, you start channelizing, but getting into this action is certainly not an easy task. Maybe there are a lot of strengths that you need to remember, that you're more capable than what you think you can deliver. Because every time a change hits you, in terms of your shift, in terms of you adhering to new process approach, project change, supervisor change, team leader change, or your subordinates change, remind yourself that you would have been through most of the changes and start giving your best with what is expected out of you in all the changes, right? So you need to start building a supporting network which can help you to reduce uncertainty, and you need to start connecting with people around you from various regions too, right? I have gone through a lot of changes, because change movement is something very common. Yeah, initially there'll be a lot of hesitancy. Well, why should I be doing this? Why will I have to accept to the shift hour? I don't like this project. Well, I am a Java developer. I am a software engineer. I don't want to do this. And the list goes on. But remember, once you start accepting it immensely graciously, you will start experiencing a different skill set that you will hold in a couple of months down the line, right? And personal branding is one thing that you can establish consistently when you've been told what is required out of you to do. Okay. Well, and this is something that the RCA framework, and people have been gaining a lot of experiences with this framework. And it is one of the best frameworks that people can even think about. Yeah. And statistically, this has been proving good for the pre-joiners. Right. Okay. And we will move on, please. Yeah, this is something that we did discuss about this executive presence where we were talking about. Now, a little in detail that I can help you with is maybe, yeah. you need to start creating this content within you. Well, if I know that as a person that I can brand myself really well, I can establish myself really well, how will I be able to do it? Will I be consistent enough to do this? That is something that you have to think about, because the moment you start establishing it, people will start recognizing you. But have you been consistently doing it is something that we have to look at, right? So start working on things that comes your way. When I say personal branding is certainly, I keep reiterating, it requires a lot of consistency, right? Saying yes to relevant opportunities. You need to start accepting this. Always start with an okay. Always say a word of yes, I will certainly try doing this. We are not worried about the results, but we're worried about the efforts that you put in and the journey, the experience that you have gained in. So everything you do either strengthens you or dilutes you to personal branding. So you need to start recreating and creating it again. Now, one more way that you can think about is speaking in a public forum. Statistically proven that most of us are not comfortable when we meet a larger crowd. I'm sure all of us would have even had this blank moment in college, yeah, in a presentation. So start working to work in a public speaking forum, gain opportunities. I'm sure I'll give you a couple of statements and you would experience this after joining the organization. Your supervisor will definitely check with you. Well, is there anyone who can take up the team huddle today? Anyone who wants to present this slide to the client? Is there anyone from the team who want to volunteer for this 5-minute deck presentation? I'm sure the entire team may be silent, but pick those opportunities because speaking gets you to that immediate credibility. You will never know your confidence, your personality trait is assigned or is being recognized by people with a speaking ability, because we don't want to look at people who are quiet. So the immediate credibility not only helps you internally, but also it makes you get a better establishment with your supervisor, with clients, and with the entire project network. Right, because the companies now, organizations are now seeing speaking ability to be like an expert, because we want people who speak really well. We want people to connect with the stakeholders. This can be one of the elements that you can certainly look at. Yeah, the more you get exposure, the more you're eager to speak. That is something nice your team will be recognizing you for. Now, in any meeting, there's also one more tip that I can help you with. How can you create this strong personal brand? Any meeting that you join, please ensure that you ask at least one question. All the meetings, all the connects will ask you, is there a question? Is there any question from your end? And we unanimously say, no, we don't have any. Not that way, because this is again an opportunity that you're grabbing. Yeah, because I was told by one of the managers that I need to speak up more during a meeting. That can help people understand, well, he is interested, he is listening, and he's got the speaking ability to connect with us. Because there is a point, but if you don't say anything or ask anything in a meeting, people will never notice you. You will feel unnoticed. You will not be recognized. Right? People remember even a 1-minute conversation. That reminds me, there's a popular video, which is jam video, wisdom shots by a person. In 1 minute, he speaks something intense. He can make that, profound change in that. So start connecting with people, any opportunity, but don't talk for the sake of talking. You need to be a listener and find a way that you can connect with people. Right. So this is one thing. And networking is important within your team. I remember in college, we have this ideology. Well, I'm a very quiet person. I'm a very nice student. I come, I do my job, I study, and I go back home. And teachers, lecturers like people who are quiet, who are nice, who score great in their academics. But remember, in corporate, you need to network internally, even beyond your immediate team. Maybe your team will be with, maybe a 10-member team or a 15-member team. But that doesn't confine your life. You need to go beyond, connect with people around you. Who's going to stop you? Because Wipro believes in a transparent culture, and we believe in communicating with people around us. There's no, hard and fast rule within the organization. Do that. And you can share your voice with influencers. For example, your supervisor can be an expert in his domain or in a couple of areas that you think that he is an expert. I'm sure you will have identified one area that you can think that you are an expert where he or she does not know, or your team members does not know. So the best way is you should make it a point to proactively provide support in the area that you have an expertise in, right? I can give you an example. Well, let's say there's an event. There's an event that happens in Wipro after you join in, all right? And they're looking for someone to MC, someone to anchor the show. Opportunity is given, right? You will have done that in college. So start connecting, let them know that, well, I am good at it and I would like to grab this opportunity. So maybe with social media groups, you can consider actively engaging in all the discussions, maybe in an email or in a chat conversation. In Teams, we have something called this MS channel that we connect. A lot of things. And Yama community is one that you can align yourself with. You can showcase your ideas. You can share your expertise. Remember, you want to focus on your personality. You need to start establishing with people around you. Now, the second picture that you see here is professional magnetism that influences others. We all know magnet is something that attracts people. And as kids, we love playing with that because there's some attraction in that, and we love to play with that. Now, if you look at professional magnetism that can influence, yes, your traits, your energy, your influence, where you bring in a lot of vibes when you join a meeting or a forum, because there are two elements that involved when you talk about a magnet. The first is your fascination, where you can bring in people, and your approachability. And Wipro is an organization. We have a lot of leaders who attract people and who has this approachability element in them. So these two qualities start creating a positive attitude. And remember, this can be one of the master networking process. So together, when you start influencing, it becomes absolutely a magnetic influence. So magnetism typically means you being a center of influence. Yeah, you taking that forum, you taking responsibility. Remember, what if you could become, a magnet for your business, where you bring in a lot of business? I'm sure you'll be one of the big assets for your team there. Yeah, so you can become the person you really want to, because you can strengthen it related to the composition of what your team wants you to be. Probably in college or in school, you'd have always been having this wow factor, or like someone well, I want to speak like him. I want to be like her. She's got this quality. She's awesome. So there's some kind of magic in them. So pick the qualities that you can convert. I'm sure by now you know your strengths better. Maybe your strength that you have identified is to be your communication skills. And you say that, well, I'm at 70% now. But with your communication with 70%, you can start attracting people. You can start influencing people. Make that 70 to 80 or 80 to 90, and it goes on in the number. So start conquering your fear of rejection. There will be a big no to anything or everything that you say after joining your teams. People will give you refusals. People will give you denials. People will say big no to you. But remember, you should be more inclined to accept these rejection. And how can you overcome these rejection? Because don't be taking it too personal. Well, they're not interested in whatever I say. No, because this fear factor is just one reason people don't start conversing. You get highly dejected when people reject you at the first point in time of your conversation, which is okay. You need to overcome this. So this fear of rejection has to be completely taken care of. Practice what is required out of you. How can you make this fear fade away from you? Learn from your mistakes, which can be certainly possible only from your end, right? And I know this like symbol is something that we all like, this, the wow factor in most of us. There's always this fascination and the magnet that can give you a wow factor, because this experience has been a common in organizations in various sectors. People always want to experience a wow experience. They don't want an unpleasant event. They don't want anything that can be the other way around. So your personality can be possible if you start working on your personal branding and you're working on your magnetism that can help people influence with, and I'm sure this is going to be a wow factor. Now, I would take, Zainab's help to move on to the next slide, which is about the 4 dimensions of executive presence that I can share you with. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Zainab, if you could move on, please. Now look at this. It talks about personal, communication, relational, and external. So these are the 4 dimensions which has got a long impact in you. So what am I supposed to do to get this? Well, when I talk about personal, what should I be taking care of? My knowledge, my skill set, and my mindset. Okay, there's this one scenario that we keep reiterating. Yeah, after you joining an organization, it is not that your skill set or you will be aligned only to one particular project. There'll be multiple opportunities. So your knowledge, your concepts in terms of learning has to be wider. You need to start embracing those pointers in you and start seeing yourself in upgrading your skill set, because the ability to use your knowledge conversion to your required skill set and applying it on a real-time life can bring in loads of appreciations, right? And your mind frame, which you have to certainly take care of. In corporate, there's nothing called as I don't talk with him, I don't talk with her, I hate him, I hate her. No, we believe in dealing with conflicts. We believe in healthy arguments, disagreements, and we end up with professionalism. I remember in college when you don't want to connect with someone. You say, well, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk to her. She cannot be my friend. I cannot be his friend. And it goes on. But corporate, that doesn't work that way. Well, there's a disagreement today in terms of business. The next day you have to greet people around you. So you need to get into that mind frame. So first and foremost, please ensure you take care of this personal traits really well. Now, I've been reiterating on this point in communication. Wipro believes in transparent communication. Now, there are a lot of opportunities we bring into people, right? So when we talk about communication, it is not that we restrict employees to one particular element or one particular frame of communication. Now, what kind of candid experience can I go through with? Will I be able to be confident enough to connect with people around me? Well, the more you're curious to know on what it is, you need to start experimenting it and experiencing it. Now, this can help you to build your confidence and have loads of clarity in thoughts and facts. Now, when you end your professional life or when you start your professional life, your presentation is important. When I say presentation, it's not just the PPT that we're talking about. How you as a personality, how you as a professional, you're presenting yourself. Are you being assertive in communication? There are types of communication, yeah. One is aggressive, one is passive aggressive, we talk about, the other is passive and assertive. Now, professional life, we encourage people to be assertive in their communication skills, because the more you are assertiveness is all about being transparent. Even you want to say a big no there, you put it so nicely. Yeah, saying no nicely is an art. So remember, when you communicate with people around you, not just your assertive communication or your content or the language that you speak in, but ensure that you have the right body language when you connect. Now that you are connecting virtually, your video is important. Your position on the camera, you acknowledging a blink of the eye, a wink of the eye, you lifting your eyebrows, or you moving your eyes when someone is talking, when there is a leadership connect, can be considered to be sharing a feedback from the other's end. Now, in corporate, especially when you've been assigned with projects or after you've been assigning with projects, we expect people to be embracing loads and loads of opportunities to connect with people. There are people in organizations where they tell you, well, I've been in this organization for 5 years, but I still like my first team. I still like my second team. There's always this comfort zone. Some point in time, you're comfortable with that and you don't even want to get out of it. But remember, opportunities are given to you with loads of offerings. So be wise enough to get out of the comfort zone and say, well, I am going to explore the other skill set. I am going to join the second team and make my life even more better, my career become even more better, right? And being a team player can be demonstrated and witnessed really well. It is not that you all the time you need to say, well, I'm a team player. There are a lot of executions that can witness you if you are a team player. Well, I can give you one example. When you start, it's like a boomerang, right? You start giving something, you receive something. Being a team player, you can start supporting your team member when there's a crisis. Well, let's say the team member is on an emergency leave, right? You can take care of the workload. You can take care of the work task that is given and say, well, I'm going to help. Tomorrow, there'll be an opportunity that they can help you in turn. So that's the art of a team player, not denying business. Not denying business. So you need to understand your team on a larger picture. Impact of things that doesn't work. Or what happens if this team leader is not there? What happens? Will my team score go down? Will my clients be questioning me if I don't complete these things on deadlines? Right? So start believing in that. And very important, look at the last pointer that is there. You need to start believing in yourself and your capability, because that can help you to connect with people and get into a greater mode of connect too. Now, I did mention in the start of the conversation that you will have to connect with people across the globe, across geographies. Now, there's a tendency when we connect with people from the same region, we tend to talk in regional, which is not acceptable in corporate sector. We believe in speaking English globally. So what is it that you are supposed to do? Well, I need to be really respectful towards other culture, other region, and start connecting with them. And we did talk about your grooming. Please ensure that you take care of your dress code when you meet people in person or when you meet connecting virtually too. Right. And I will give you a couple of etiquette too that we can move on and look at. Right. So before we move on to the next slide, there's something that I can help you on a better pointer. Now, remember that you are held responsible for your actions. We all know that we are held responsible for our actions. So always connect with people on what is expected out of you and what you think is committed out of you. That can bring in a greater sense of responsibility within you. That is very important when you think about. Right. Okay. And yes, we are moving on to the next slider that I can take Zainab's help on. And yeah. Now, you guys tell me, this talks about business imperatives. You guys let me know. Pick either one of these and say, well, I need to work on this. It can be collaborative working or your growth mindset or effective communication. You guys tell me, what is it that you would like to pick and work on? It can be one or it can be two, or it can be three too. I don't mind. All right, growth mindset, good one. Okay, one response that I see. Okay, collaborative. Yeah, I see mixed responses. All the three, okay. Cool. Now, there's always a reason for us to have the slide on in terms of these three elements being business imperatives. Now, effective communication, you and I know without communication, We do not exist. We coexist with communication, and your communication has to be on par with when you connect with your stakeholders and people around you. Uh, if you know as a person, you need to start working on your conversational skills or presentation skills, writing skills, or mailing skills. Identify those elements because you still have time before getting onto the role. So start working, surf on the net, go to YouTube channel, get on a couple of tips that you think that can make your communication effective. I am certain that at one point in time, we all want to scale up to better communication skills. Right. Collaborative working is not an easy task. Honestly speaking, it is not that easy. In college, it appears to be completely different. But when you connect with people in professional life, it has got a lot of brainstorming sessions. It has got a lot of decision making skills. You need to start accepting people around you and decisions to be offered. And you have to say no nicely to them. When you deny something, you have to reason out. So the more you collaboratively work, the more is your understanding. But I would help you to reiterate on one pointer here. Collaborative working requires better acknowledging and understanding. Start being a good listener. Know what is required out of the teams that you're around in. Example, 10-member team, and you have to work on a presentation. 10 people in the team will have 1,000 ideas. Maybe they don't want animations in the PPT. They don't want pictorial representation. They don't want graph. They don't want scattered item, and it goes on, right? When you start working collaboratively, expected results can be achieved provided you have the right mind frame to accustom to ideas and adapt to changes. Yeah, and the growth mindset is certainly possible when you start embracing changes, accepting things immensely. Now, I will help you with the last slide here, which talks about how can you act as a differentiator, right? So this is the last slide that Zainab can help us with. Yeah, and we'll move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. Look at this, and you've got a couple of numbers on this slide, which talks about, percentage of 20, 40, and it goes on. To act as a differentiator now, being responsive. Now, I know I'm being responsive enough when I see things around me or when I know what is required out of me. But how can I make the world, how can I make my team know what is required? Now, I have to be certainly responsive to my customers. When I say customers, my internal and my external customers. Internal customers, you and I within the organization. External, my stakeholders, my project. So ask what the customers really want. First, you need to start with knowing what they really want, maybe knowing their expectation, because your existing customers can be certainly different on multiple occasions, many a time. Not all the customers will have their expectation standardized or stable. So you need to know, for example, when they want to build or to work on the ability to make a schedule with you, or they want to make a better website or things, you will have to know how you can deal with them. So know your customers' preferences and start connecting with them. This can be one responsive element that I'm mentioning about. Now that you know what is expected out of you, but how do you manage it? Manage their expectation is important. You can get into the idea of guiding your customers to what can give them best. Because remember, it's a business-centric world that you and I live in. Customers are important for us. Maybe someone would have told you, well, this has got nothing to do, or this has loads to do. One example that I can help you is when you know that your customers can reach out to you in MS Teams or in WebEx or in Outlook, let them know that, well, this is the only forum. You can send me an email at any point in time and I would be able to respond to you. But if you are unavailable, please do not give them another expectation. So ensure that you start managing expectations mutually with people around you. Now, after that, you being responsive enough to have the expectations done, there's a concept of you developing this to the next element. You can elevate it a little better. Your benchmarks on your requirements, on what the customer wants is known. So what are you supposed to do? Start working towards that. You need to be responsible enough to know what is required from you and from the customer's end. Yeah, this can definitely help you. And one more that I can help you with is building that rapport with your customers. And on all occasions, you need to ensure that building rapport can enormously bring in recognition to you as a team player, as a team member, and to the organizations too. Right? This can only be the element that can bring a lot of businesses. And we believe in generating revenue to the organizations too. Right? And being respectful is something that we all like. Like I told you, the boomerang game. You respect someone, you expect them to be treated well, you also receive the same treatment. So, how can you be respectful when you send emails? Important. Our transactions, our communication transaction evolves around loads and loads of emails that you send. So please ensure that any opportunity you have a transaction with people around you, being respectful is very important, because on all situations, respect has got this acronym where we say you need to remain calm, encourage others, staying positive, being so polite, embrace the differences that you have, and work on the consequences. But remember, before you speak anything or you commit anything, you have to think twice on the possibilities. Is there a possible deadline that I can go ahead with? Will I be able to commit it by 9 p.m. IST, or do I need that extra time? That's something that you have to look at. Now, always been communicating is the most important element of a professional. How can this be possible? When I say always communicating, not 24/7. Am I being there when it comes to decision making? Am I being there when there's an email sent? Am I being able to connect with people around me really easy? So you have to be communicative with things that are happening around you. You need to know your project situations better. You need to know what's happening in your team better. And take those interests within you and say, and check with your members what really happened. Is there a progress on this? Start being proactive. Check on those notes, important. Yeah. Okay. Now, stewardship is that can be demonstrated easily. I wouldn't say that's going to be a difficult one, but how is something that you have to look at. So when I really want to look at, taking this, there's a lot of responsibility and ownership that you can pick. Because see, end of the day, it's my team. I'm working for this. It is my team, my people around me, and I love my job. I'm passionate about the project that I've been assigned with. So I always demonstrate this immensely, because I know it does not benefit only me, but it benefits me, my project, my organization too. Now, last comes the trustworthy factor, which is, I would say that's the base. Yeah, that's the base. Because with trust, you can start making business into a different dimension altogether. Because we know trust is very important. It takes time to learn how to build trust, even in a real time or even at workplace. But this can value business relationship really well. It requires long-term association. Right? It might seem convenient at the moment when you take this trust or when you want to blame someone. But before you start acting, think about how they may affect others or you perceive that in the future too. Honesty is the greatest weapon that can help you throughout your business life. You developing this repetition when you want to be honest can help you to connect with people around you. So do not give up on being honest. That's one element that can help you to scale up really well. And sorry, just a moment. Sorry, yeah. And start honoring your commitments. See, we miss to do this even in real time. When you achieve something, you need to pat yourself for that. You need to honor that. Yeah, you need to remember that, well, I'm going to do this. Because a trustworthy person does everything in their power to stick to agreements, whatever they may, any situation, irrespective. You make a promise in business, you adhere to this promise. Because you avoid making promises else, or it's believed in business that you under-promise and over-deliver. And remember, when trust is something that you want people to believe you in, well, you can count on me, you can trust me, you need to admit your mistakes. You need to start saying a word of sorry, apologizing statements like I keep reiterating. So when there's something wrong, when you've missed something, when you've missed a meeting schedule, say, I'm sorry I missed it this time, but ensure that you don't repeat it the next time. Yeah, because sorry and apology has got its own threshold and power. Not all the time it can be offered like a box of chocolate. So if you realize that you were incorrect about something, some data that you have shared incorrectly, say a word of sorry. End of the day, people will be happy about you admitting your mistakes, but not covering up your mistakes, right? Great. So, very important element is when you start working on this trust factor, you can be helpful to business and people around you. And always remember, you can stand up for what is right. It's not that someone believes in you or someone does not believe you need to tweak in your ideas. If you think, well, this is right, go ahead with that. But be transparent about using this culture of transparency, connecting with people around you, and always be transparent in communicating things that can help you to people to trust you really, really better. That is something very important. Great. Well, yes, I think we are done with the session, right? And I would look at for responses, maybe a minute or two that I can look for anything that you have to ask or say. I'm looking at the chat window. Just a moment, it's buffering. Yes. Perfect.